Hi, beautiful singers. This is Valerie White-Williams, and I'm going to talk to you about a subject that I began talking about this last video, which I feel needs a little more further clarification. And that was the subject where I said, does smoking and drinking create a scratchy or husky vocal tone? Because I know many students that I've had have thought, well, if I drink a lot and trash my voice in bars, that maybe I'll get that scratchy tone. Now, the issue is that that doesn't really help your voice. It can trash your health, and which can affect your voice, but that are basically our vocal color is something that we're born with, and I don't advise you to use things like drinking and smoking to change the texture. However, there is need to be something else that needs to be said about that husky, scratchy tone, and that is for some singers and many singers, if we are abusive to our voice over time, which means we sing heavily on a consistent basis, and if you've oversung sometimes when you practice a lot, that your voice sometimes lowers in pitch and you get this quality. So that happens when we fatigue our voice, and I'll be honest, I know better. I'm a vocal teacher and I sing opera, but I've done it sometimes. You think, oh, I'm just gonna sing one more song. I'm having a great rehearsal and I just wanna keep singing. And what happens is we can sometimes oversing and fatigue our voice. Now, if you do that once, hopefully you'll learn the lesson. Maybe you're singing too heavy or you're singing too long, and just don't do that next time. However, there are a lot of singers that will create that fatigue in their vocal cords regularly with practice. I hate to be putting it all in the rock box, but I have seen a lot of rock singers sing that way as a vocal technique where they think they need to heavy-handedly put their chords together without the breath, and it creates a lot of vocal fatigue, which over time can create some vocal problems, and sometimes that comes about from creating that really husky quality voice. I saw that firsthand. I had some great friends from college. They were my roommates. We sang together as music students, and we were also in our own singing group. So I knew their voice extremely well. And after our singing group split up, they went and joined a top 40 band, and they were doing chick tunes, singing rock and roll. And this is back in the day where bands would perform sometimes 5 nights a week in clubs, and they would tour. So after a year, I heard them at a festival, and I was shocked at what I heard in their voice. They both had that scratchy, what I call rock bitch voice, which I used to think was a big kind of facade, but I heard that their singing in that music at that time with the technique they had did create fatigue in the voice, which manifested in that really scratchy, irritable tone. Now, that might sound really fun and sexy, but truly, if you have gotten to that point where you have that quality in the voice, there's probably some vocal damage going on. Some of my students who have gone on to ENTs, eye, nose, and throat doctors, vocal doctors, have seen that was what we call a pre-nodes vocal quality. Not to be nasty, but nodes are like a vocal callus that can happen from again, like a callus is something that happens from a repetitive behavior that creates irritation. So you grow a little grizzle on your vocal cords. That's what a node is. The other thing that can happen is a vocal, I think I'm going to say this right, polyp. It's like a little bit of fluid. These are things that singers really want to avoid, and that's why vocal technique is so important for every singer, especially singers that sing regularly, sing intense music like rock and roll and or opera. Now, the thing about opera students is they all study, they all know better. No one sings opera without any vocal technique, or not for long. The music is way too intense. But rock singers can regularly think, well, hey, I don't need lessons, it's rock and roll, and maybe suffering for my art is what I need to do. Maybe I need to lose my voice after every show. But the reality is anything like that that creates that vocal fatigue and in the voice is creating problems, and you certainly don't want to get to the point where your voice is really messed up, because then you either have to get surgery, which I don't recommend, or take vocal rest, or train and relearn it. So just train from the beginning, learn to use your voice healthily. Again, sometimes what we hear that we think is that quality of sound is really vocal fatigue or vocal damage, which can all be fixed and all changed if you just learn how to use the vocal technique. Back to vocal technique. Yes, every circle goes back to vocal technique. So that husky quality that you hear in some singers is not inborn, it's actually vocal damage and fatigue. So we want to avoid that. Sing with your own voice, learn to take care of your voice. It's your inheritance. And if you're a working singer, it's your business, and we just really need to take care of our voice. So that's it. That's what I have to say about vocal health, vocal damage, husky quality voices, and some other video I'll talk about how to create the grit and scratch in a really healthy, easy way. But in the meantime, check out Melissa Cross. She's the expert. So I will talk to you next time. Bye.